You are welcome here. 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 Arms are wide open. There's room for everyone. Wherever you're going, wherever you're from, you are home. You are welcome here. 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 Whatever you've been through, you found us somehow. Wherever you are on your journey now, you are home. I am welcome here. 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 We are 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 welcome here. You 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 are welcome here.
Thank you all for being here. I'm Reverend Jen Wild, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. We have an affirmation that we speak into the room every single Sunday, and I would ask you to speak this with me today. New Dawn welcomes, honors, and celebrates all expressions of life. In divine flow, we give and receive infinite good. Our community creates growth and a safe space for all to step into magnificence. We are one. Welcome home. Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone here who has not been with us in this building? Let's do that. In this location before. Just raise your hand. Get back here, over here. Look at this. Oh my gosh. And over here? Yes. Over there? Okay. So those of you who raised your hands and then put them down really quick so nobody could see you, I would ask that you hang out with us for a little bit after the service, and just so we have some time to connect and maybe get a chance to meet you. So thank you for being here. I have announcements. After service, while we're hanging out and getting to know the people who just showed up today that haven't been here before, we also have refreshments back by the kitchen. And there's a tip jar if you want to contribute to future refreshments. But we invite you to just stay for some fellowship time. So if you can do that, that would be wonderful. This past Friday night, we had a fundraiser. We had a bunch of new Dawners show up at the Rocky Horror Show. Who was there? Woo! Yes, it was a lot of fun. It is not a program for the faint of heart. So if you're considering going, brace yourself. It was incredible. The presentation was done by Family Theater Group, and it's a group of individuals who celebrate authentic expressions of the self in many, many ways, regardless of any kind of possible challenges they may have or anything like that. They did a phenomenal job. It was really great. And our very own Don Mock was there. He was the narrator, and I was told this afternoon that I was not supposed to take pictures of the cast during the thing and put them on Facebook, and oh well, I'm sorry. we have an usher opportunity. Now, if the guy on the far right shows up here, I will be ecstatic. But in the meantime, we need not only individuals who want to support the tasks of the ushers on Sunday services, but we need a lead person. The lead person would be responsible for helping get a schedule together so everybody knows what Sunday that they're here and what they're doing and whatever. It might be greeting people at the door. It might be supporting the offertory process. It could be any number of things. It could be getting out additional chairs. That time is coming. So whatever that is, if you are interested in that, reach out to Michelle Wilson. If you do not know how to do that, stop at the welcome table after services. It's this one right around the door here. And we'll either get your information or we'll get Michelle's information for you. This Thursday, Casey Fight and I will be launching this class. Yay! And this is a brand new class. We have developed this. It's so exciting. It's called Expressions of the Heart, and it is inspired by Brené Brown's book, Atlas of the Heart. And as I've said to you before, you don't have to have the book. You don't have to read the book. You don't have to have the book. You don't have to buy the book. You don't have to get all crazy about the book. It's inspired us to bring these teachings to you. But one of the things that Brené Brown teaches in this book, where she lists 87 different emotions, human emotions, is she talks about the fact that too often we're a little out of sync with what's going on with ourselves, and we think we are experiencing a feeling, and we label it. And as soon as we label it, correct or otherwise, our body goes into response of that labeling. And I had an incredible example of this that happened to me this past week, and if you want to hear the story, you need to come Thursday night. So we're still taking enrollments today, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's also going to be here, downstairs. We'll find out where the outside entrance is. We'll email that out to everyone who's enrolled in the class, and we will also be offering it on Zoom for anyone who wants to take the class remote. In September the 18th, from 3 to 4 p.m. following our afternoon service, we will have our annual gathering. This is the meeting where, we used to call this a business meeting. Oh, I don't like that word. So it's just going to be our get-together meeting to find out what's going on with New Dawn, to get a report from our bookkeeper will be with us, and she'll be telling us all about our financial situation, our stability. We'll be looking at ideas that you have for the future, where you want to go, what you want to do, how you want to show up in the Aurora community. So it's going to be a really great meeting, so please, those of you who can, join us for that. So I just invite you to just take a deep breath in and settle into this space, letting go of anything and everything that does not need to be here now as we move into our congregational song of Hands of Grace.
We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection from a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. Protection from a mother. receives protection from a mother's warm embrace. We are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace.
And for the words of inspiration today comes from Revelation 21:6. It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty, I will give water without cost from the spring of the water of life. In Christianity, the, quote, water of life, end of quote, is used in the context of living water. And a quote from Dr. Emoto: water carries your thoughts and prayers as you are water yourself. No matter where you are, your prayers will be carried to the rest of the world. And from our founder, the honored Dr. Ernest Holmes, the symbol of water is used to express the idea of complete immersion of spirit. Water flows in, around, and through us like spirit. Though water cannot completely clean or make us whole, it symbolizes the recognition of an outward sign of an inner conviction. I know there is just one God, and I recognize there is just one life. And that life is my life in the here and the now. And I am forever united with the Spirit, the Creator, the thing I call God. It is what binds you, me, us, what I call the wheezes, as we are one. I see it manifest itself in the beautiful nature of Colorado. It is everywhere. I see it in the stars at night, in the moon, the warmth of the sun. And more importantly, I have quite a connection with water myself. And what I realize is this water of life is always flowing. 60% of my body is water. It does indeed cleanse me. It washes clothes. I drink it. I swim in it. I sail in it. I kayak in it. And when it's frozen, I ice skate on it. And here in Colorado, we're a great source for the rest of the lower Colorado regional area for that water. I know that like water, life ebbs and flows. I know like water, invisible things are done, and it has tremendous energy. Just like the helping hands here at New Dawn. The volunteers that show up that make the event happen every Sunday, whether it be the volunteers that usher, the people making coffee, serving snacks after service, making sure the chairs are arranged, our musical team, their instruments, their songs, singing prayer, the AV team that allows us to be able to get our message out to others who are not with us this day. For the energy, whether you are sitting in these seats today, in a mosque, in a church, matters not if you're walking in nature or sitting on your sofa, dropping from your head to your heart. As we join the practitioners here holding consciousness for our own Reverend Jen Wild, as she brings forth the words, the spirit, the energy, and the light that shifts my consciousness. And I give great thanks for the opportunity to be here this day and say these words. And I can release and let go knowing it is so. And together we say, and so it is.
Ben Parrish, everyone. Planet Earth is referred to as the blue planet because from a distance, this amazing space that we live on, this amazing planet, appears to be mostly blue. That's because 71% of the surface of planet Earth is water. So as we're looking at this context today in our theme of nature, and we're moving into the next piece, the water of life, you're probably thinking, well, if 71% of this planet is water, we don't have anything to worry about. And my message isn't about worry. It's about looking at the different ways that water serves us in our spiritual lives, as well as ways that it serves us in the physical plane, and what we can do as we become more and more aware and conscious of our job here on planet Earth to protect this water. Our oceans, our seas, our lakes, and our rivers provide food, oxygen, climate regulation, recreation, the ability to travel from one land mass to another, and even medicine. While this water is plentiful, 97% of it is salt water, 3% of it is fresh water. Puts things a little bit into perspective. So here's what we know. Science supports us in understanding these properties and the function of water in the natural world. Ethics helps us decide how to preserve, protect, and distribute our water resources. And spirituality helps us to identify our core convictions and the meaning of the value of water. And these are some of the key points I want to make this afternoon. Powerful words from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in his writings entitled The Art of Life, say this: just as water purifies itself as it flows, so the impure stream of our mental life becomes purified by applied constructive thinking. It may well be that a lack of circulation in the physical body is a result of mental stagnation, while mental stagnation is the result of a lack of spiritual perception. Whoa, let's break that down a little bit. So what he's talking about here is that if we hold water in its intrinsic value, we will demonstrate by our acts and our actions how we feel about it, what we believe about it, and how we respect this beautiful resource. So we take it from this place of this awareness, of this knowingness, and we put it into that place of action and manifestation and demonstration as to what it is and how it shows up. We will display an inner spirit lacking respect for water if we abuse it or misuse it. So think about that for a second, because sometimes we're just not paying attention. I don't know about you, but I have those moments where I've doing something and all of a sudden I realize I really wasn't present. I left my body for a second and did something unconsciously. And so what we want to do is what we want to do with this information today is just take this and really grab a hold of it today and look at how it can serve us this week and what we can focus on and how we can become more aware. Let us immerse ourselves in the flow of the river of life, where the water flows pure and crystal clear. This is what we want to do. We want to look at that circulation within the body, within the being, within the planet, as the very life energy that we have, and how water plays a part with that. Because we happen to know that water is amazing, and it's a very useful tool, and yet it can be destructive if you use that terminology as how it can tear something down or break something down or break something apart. So one of the best stories I have about this is a story about Thich Nhat Hanh as a child. And he was walking through his village one day, and he found this huge clay pot, and it was filled almost to the top with water. And he looked in, and what he saw in the very bottom of this clay pot was a beautiful multicolored leaf. Well, he was a pretty little boy, so he's reaching down into this pot, trying to reach this leaf, and he can't get his arm down deep enough. So he looks around, and he finds a stick, and now he's taking this stick, and he's kind of swirling the water around and trying to get it to attach to this leaf and getting the water to start motion. And the leaf is stubbornly staying at the bottom of the clay pot. So he gives up, and he walks away. And a few minutes later, he came back. And when he came back and he looked into the pot, the leaf was at the top of the surface of the water. Because that initial motion continued to go forward, continued to stir that water within that pot, driving that energy to raise that leaf up to the top. What a beautiful example for us. To keep that motion going, to keep that movement going. We talk about this in so many different ways that we sometimes get to that place in our lives where we're almost there. We've almost accomplished it. We're so close. We don't know this, but we're so close, and we back off, and we stop, and we give up. Whereas if we had just continued a little bit more, that momentum would have brought us the result that we were seeking. So today, I want you to consider how the unconscious mind thinks, how the conscious mind thinks, how these work on our behalf and in our behalf, and what we can do with this as we take our attention to just the very beautiful concept, the very beautiful creation that we have that is called water this week. Sometimes we got to stir stuff up and walk away. Let me say that again. Sometimes we got to stir stuff up and walk away, and then come back and see where we are. The Buddha has told us to develop a mind that is vast like the water, where experiences both pleasant and unpleasant can appear and disappear without conflict, struggle, or harm. Rest in a mind like vast water. How does water support you? Just getting into a bathtub or a pool of water, just being surrounded by that beautiful, wonderful physical form and energy can heal us, can support us, can relax us, can bring us to that contemplative state where we can resolve issues, solve problems and challenges. The world's largest beach cleanup project began in 2015 in Mumbai. Afroz Shahs started picking up the trash from the Versova beach all on his own, just walking along the beach, picking up trash. And then others began to join him. To date, they have removed 5 million kilograms of trash. More than 8 billion tons of plastic is thrown into our oceans every single year. What can we do about this? What does this mean to those of us in this room who live in Colorado and have no ocean anywhere close to us? Well, we can still look to the waters and the waterways, and we can still do our part to clean up and to support the process and ensure that this doesn't happen. So I was wondering this week, well, so is there a risk? You know, what's going on? Because last week, the talk was about the planet Earth itself, and I understand from a number of you that NBC had some information for us last Sunday morning about the attention we are needing to pay to planet Earth because it's in destruct mode. We have abused it. We have disregarded this planet. So I was curious about the idea of water, and what I found was that NASA, just this year, in the month of May, began monitoring our water supply. And I thought, well, it's 2022. I guess might be time to take a look at that. That's really great. And so as they're doing this research, one of the things that they reminded each of us to do is to think global and act local. No one is asking you to go out there and do some massive global project. There's so many little things we can do, so many steps we can take right here in our own lives, in our own space, in our own homes to reduce the consumption of water. If you're having a difficult time wondering or trying to figure out if you're using too much water or if you're in that bracket of abuse, take a look at your water bill. And if it's going up each month, that's evidence of something for you to decide, not anything for me to tell you about. Too many people on the planet today, no, let me say that differently. Many people on the planet today have the belief that we don't have to worry about water. It's not anything to worry about. Do you know why? Because it falls out of the sky. Not everywhere, not all the time, but every now and then, it falls out of the sky. We're supposed to do that sometime this afternoon, I think, like somebody said 6 p.m. or something. Anyway, so just that human connection to how things work, when you walk outside and it's falling out of the sky, we appreciate the abundance, we love that. We have that sense of thinking, well, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about how much I'm using or what I'm doing. But I want you to just take some time this week and shift that attention. So not only to how it serves you in your spiritual context and in your physical form, but how you are serving it as well. As Linda shared this quote from Dr. Masaru Emoto, water carries our thoughts and prayers as you are water yourself. No matter where you are, your prayers will be carried to the rest of the world. Water is a conduit. It carries something from one place to the other. So what a beautiful concept that is. And I appreciate the idea that my prayers are carried on the water. My prayers are carried on the waves and the energy around me, on the very breath that I breathe. What a beautiful idea that is. What a beautiful realization that is. We can wash away disbelief, fear, and doubt. We can wash away resentment. We can allow our bodies and minds to be filled with the essence and energy of life. Take a moment with that. What can you do for yourself in your own spiritual practice this week to support you? Many of you are familiar with the teachings of Dr. Emoto, where he has shown us in many, many, many examples of the energy around us and how it touches and changes the molecular structure of water. In many of his books and on his online presence on his website are beautiful pictures of water molecules that when they are spoken to with love, when they are spoken to with joy, when they are spoken to with appreciation, they're beautiful. They look like intricate snowflakes. They're just phenomenal. But when you speak in the room of hatred and anger and distrust and resentment and criticism, those molecules begin to deteriorate. They turn brown. They become discolored. The very energy, the very thoughts, the very words we speak are impacting this planet and the water around us. What an interesting and amazing idea, and what a calling that is for me to be more responsible, to be more accountable, to be more present to exactly what I'm doing. Gloria Karpinski tells this little story. She said, I saw a fountain of liquid light. It towered in the air, brilliant and shimmering with color. I saw thirsty people approaching the fountain with a thimble-sized container, filling it with water and drinking it and walking away. And then I saw people coming forth with a cup and filling the cup with this beautiful water and walking away. And then I saw this young child who joyfully and cheerfully, laughing, ran up to the fountain, stripped off his clothing, and jumped in. And she said from that moment forward, all you could see was hear the giggles and see little flashes of the glee in his eyes from time to time as he celebrated the very beauty and essence of the water. She said, to me, this was evidence of grace. I'm not going to tell you you have homework this week to go jump in a fountain with all of your clothes off. I don't think that's a wise thing for me to tell you. However, take the time this week and look at the bodies of water. Look at the water around you. Look at these things and understand what this means to us. It is our life force. It is a very key component to us being alive. We can go without food for a longer period of time than we can go without water to nourish the very physical form of the body. We humans have an instinctive bond with nature. I discovered this in a writing by Alan Watts. He said, we are more in tune to the organisms within this planet than we may know, because for 3 million years and 100,000 generations, we were in nature. Humankind was in nature. And then we started building buildings. So for the majority of the time that human existence has been on this planet, we lived in nature. So there is an inherent part of us that is connected to that. Take time this week and get in touch with that. Stop and look at a flower. Stop and watch the leaves blowing on the tree. Take time to pay attention to that. Look at the water as people's sprinkler systems are going, or wherever you are. Again, the ponds that are in the parks. Beautiful ways to connect. Beautiful ways to connect. Alan says, you did not come into this world. You came out of it like a wave from the ocean. You are not a stranger here. This is our home. This is our home. For whatever time we are here, this is it. What can we do to ensure that it's not only here for the remainder of our own lives, but for the generations coming behind us, following us? And again, I'm not saying you have to go do something major, but consider this. Do you ever turn on the faucet and just kind of let it run? Do you ever just not pay attention to how many times you do laundry, whether or not you use a dishwasher, how much water you use to wash dishes, to bathe, how long your family members are in the shower? My grandson gets to set a timer because he just loves the water. He'll stay in the shower till the hot water heater is empty and Selena is losing her mind, or his dad, my son Jake, because you can still hear the water running. We get to pay attention to this. And I say this not just for you, but for me, because not too long ago, I was in the living room doing something. I had been in the kitchen. And I was in the living room because something distracted me, and I thought, what is that noise? And I walked in the kitchen, and the faucet was on. I was getting water for something. I was going to fill the water jug. I don't know what I was doing, but for whatever reason, I walked away, and I did not turn that off. So an awareness came up for me to pay attention to that very simple process. How do you feel when you're thirsty and you have a nice cup or glass of water to drink? What does that do to your very being? I mean, that's like a spiritual practice, to just drink the water and feel it going into your body and moving into your body and touching all those amazing organs that need to be fed and nourished with water. We can all experience this, and we can all be more mindful of these activities. The next time it rains, you may have this opportunity today. We'll see. We'll see. Express a blessing of gratitude for the rain. The next time you step into the shower, give thanks for the very ability to be in a space of privacy and have this amazing water washing over your body. That can be a spiritual practice as you consider that it's releasing from the surface of the skin things that you don't want to hold on to. What an amazing process. We will do more for this planet by acknowledging it and demonstrating our gratitude for it if we just do that every day. That can be such a great process. And then we can be in sacred communion, to sit in a chair and place your feet into a bowl of water and just allow your being to recognize and have this beautiful connection with this water. This week I encourage you to pay attention. I encourage you to take a look at what you're doing and how you are using water, what it means to you from a heart space and spiritual space, and what it means to the remainder of the planet. I had I think it was about a 12-pack of those little water bottles in my refrigerator, still wrapped in the plastic. I'm not even sure where they came from. I'm not sure why they were in my refrigerator because I do not buy bottled water. However, I grabbed it one day and put it in the car. And as I was coming out of whatever driveway, there was a woman and her 3 children with a little sign. And I rolled down the window and I said, "Could you use some cold water?" They were dancing as they came over to the car and took that from me, especially in this heat. What an amazing idea. But I hadn't thought of it before, just to go drive around and hand people bottles of water. So think about what this can mean to you and what you can do and how you can be in support of this. I want to tell you about my friend Jeff. I worked with Jeff while I was still in corporate America. It was the last job I had before what did I do? I retired and became a minister. That's what I called it anyway. This man was amazing. I just loved him. We worked in a call center, and he was the director of the call center. And he wasn't in an office where he had an open door policy. He was in a desk with a cubicle out on the call center floor where all of the reps could come up and approach him at any point in time. He knew every single individual that worked there's name. He knew their kids, their families. He was cheerful, joyful. He was just an amazing, incredible man. Loved lacrosse, loved to bicycle. That was his passion. When his family would go on vacations, they would plan them around places where he wanted to go ride so that he could take a day or however long and go hit a trail, and then they could all get back together and do whatever activity they wanted to do. One of the things that touched me the most when I worked with him was when I would sit down with him at his desk, and he would talk about his wife or his children. His face would just light up with this love and this appreciation for who they were. This past June, Jeff took his family to Grand Junction, Colorado. There was a number of events taking place in Grand Junction and in Palisade, and they were going to spend pretty much the week just vacationing. And one morning he got up and he grabbed his gear and his bicycle and he headed out to do the Palisade plunge. which is a trail that is approximately 31 miles long. It begins at an elevation of about 11,000 feet. It isn't a downhill ride, but it has ups and downs where it drops at times close to 6,000 feet. Jeff was 4 miles from finishing the trail when he lost consciousness because he'd run out of water. And the family, as you can imagine, was devastated. He just left. He was coming back, and then he wasn't. A week ago, his wife Amy went back to Palisade and ran the trail to finish it for Jeff. 53 years old, healthy, kind, loving, full of life, and he's no longer with us. I tell you this story for 2 reasons. One, even though Jeff and his family lived in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Aurora, Colorado was his home. 2, you will walk out of here today and not remember 90% of what I said. But perhaps this message, this story of this man and his life will stay in your heart enough to support you this week as you pay attention to the idea of water and how it is our very life source. Santosh Kawar says, always be like a water. Float in the times of pain or dance like waves along the wind which touches its surface. Float in the times of pain or dance like waves along the wind. What a beautiful idea. This week I encourage you to look at water and bring it in to your life as part of your spiritual practice. Because the more we work with it, the more we address it, the more we spend time with it, the more we focus on it, the more we will know to respect it, the more we will demonstrate our love for this planet and all that it is by protecting our amazing resources for water. There are challenges to that very survival today. We are very aware of that. We have behaved poorly in the past as a society. There have been legal opportunities where waterways have been closed off and the waterways have been used to fill plastic bottles, and those plastic bottles have been sold and the waterways have been dried up. I believe we've gotten wiser. Some days I'm not so certain, but those are the days that I sit with the space and the awareness that as I take my mindset and put it into prayer and allow it to go out around the planet, I know that it is shifting and changing some of this mindset for all of us. So this week, let's just take time to rekindle our relationship with this beautiful element. And let's be aware, live in that place of awareness as to what we're doing and how we're doing it. We are reminded to practice caring for nature by deepening our love for planet Earth. This week, I encourage you to live in that space of gratitude dancing like the water dances when it's splashing, when rain is falling on a body of water, when we had a few weeks ago, we had a downpour, which we don't even know what those are in Colorado, but we had this downpour, and all of a sudden there were puddles outside, and the water is just splashing. And watching it, how it does that, and how beautiful that is, and what does that do for your being, your awareness? Let us do our part to nourish, to protect, and to acknowledge the everyday wonders of our home, planet Earth. Please pray with me. As we just breathe in to this space, recognizing that the very breath that we breathe is the breath of God, we know that Spirit is present. We know that divine energy is in our bodies, our beings, our minds, our voices, our speech, all of it, right here, right now. We know that we are aligned with nature because it is a part of who we are. We have come from it. It is within us. And so let us just take that time this week and today to just recognize that and appreciate that. And take this into our spiritual practices, and take this into our prayer work, and take this into how we interact with other people on this planet as we share the love and the gifts of nature and what it has for us. So right here and right now, I know that each and every person in this room and each and every person that views this message online and all people everywhere are blessed by God. What a beautiful, beautiful knowing we have that we are here. We are here in divine purpose. We are here on purpose. We are here for a reason. And one of the reasons that we are here is to express love and gratitude. And so this week we do the dance of that expression with joy, with harmony, with balance, with perfection, knowing that we can make a difference for ourselves, for our communities, and for our planet. I know it's good and I know it's perfect, and I am so grateful to simply be in this space and speaking these words, and I just let this go. I let it go into the ether, into divine mind where everything is made manifest, where Spirit is already saying, yes, yes, we need this. Let's do this. I call it perfect, I call it good, and I call it God. As together we say, and so it is. Thank you, Ben. Don't we just love him? It is now time for our gifts, our tithes, and our offering. And we have an affirmation blessing that we speak together. Please join me as we say this today. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing the presence of God blesses and multiplies all I am, all I have, all I give, and all I receive. And so it is. As we close our service this afternoon, I did want to mention, I realized I kind of jumped right into that and didn't do my little hands over the heart. I apologize for that. But I know that those of you who are here in the room are aware that we give from the heart, and that's an important piece. And if you want to know what we're doing with this money that you're putting into this basket every week or so, come to our meeting on the 18th. We'll be talking all about that, who we tithe to in the community and where your dollars are going. I believe in transparency. I think that's really critical in the spiritual world and in the religious world, and so letting you know what's going on is really important. I also want to just talk for a second about what it's like to be a student at Holmes and Ministerial School. What happens is, I mentioned last week, and I think then I started the gossip mill running about the practitioners and who's thinking about ministerial school. Let that go. But when you do make that decision, when you finally take that step and you move into that, life starts to change in leaps and bounds. And it's just such an incredible process for a student to be in that place and to be in that role. And one of the incredible things that gets to happen is, as a student, you get to decide, what is your ministry going to be about? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? Now, I knew from the very beginning I was going to stand up and talk in front of people, because that's just what I love to do. And Spirit was just guiding me down that path. So, but sometimes we don't always know that. So I just wanted to tell you this because next week, Casey Fight is going to be speaking to you, and I'm going to have the Sunday off. Yay! But yeah. So I invite you to come and support her and just be that loving presence. I was told one time years ago that the best place you could ever tap into or test your speaking skills was in a spiritual community where there was nothing but love. So I know everything will be perfect and wonderful. So thank you for doing that. If you have a need or desire for prayer after services today, we will have a practitioner at the back of the room who will be willing to offer you support right here in this space. If you are not comfortable with that, or that doesn't just quite fit for you, to the right of the doors as you're looking to go out is a prayer table for the practitioners, and there are written prayer requests, and you can fill out a request form and basically state what you want to create in your life, and then the practitioners take those and pray over those throughout the week. When services are over, Linda and I will step over here to the doorway, and we call it a meet and greet line. You can come by and say hi. You don't have to do hugs and all that kind of stuff, but whatever you're comfortable with, I would love to connect with you. And then again, the hospitality people who have everything lined up for refreshments after services today. So thank you again for being here. Thank you. Regina and Jolene, who drove up from Colorado Springs. Anybody drive further than Colorado Springs today? Thanks for being here. All right, we're going to see how this works as we sing our closing song, Stand.
For years I would talk about how I wanted to change the world.
That's good.
But I always left it up for someone else to do. Then I finally realized I needed to take a stand, and that by changing my thinking I could change my life, and that's how I could change the world. Let there be peace, I am a stand for peace. Let there be love, I am a stand for love. Let there be joy, I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace, I am a stand for peace. Let there be love, I am a stand for love. Let there be joy, I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace, I am a stand for peace. Let there be love, I am a stand for love. Let there be joy, I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now.
Hello. I'm Reverend Jen Wild, Senior Minister for New Dawn Center for Spiritual Living. New Dawn Center is a global community, and we welcome all people, all paths, all ways of thinking, all philosophies. So know that you are welcome here, and thank you for joining our online community.